You don't need a decade. You don't need a miracle. You need 1 hour. 1 hour to decide who you're going to be for the rest of your life. The truth, most people don't change because they never stop long enough to think. They stay stuck in survival mode, scrolling, reacting, comparing, complaining. But the second you choose to master your mindset, everything changes. You don't realize it yet, but you're in a battle every single day, and the battlefield is your mind. From the moment you open your eyes, confidence truly is the key to something is fighting for control of your thoughts. It might be the news, the notifications, the opinions of others, or that nagging voice in your head that whispers, "You're not enough." This isn't just about mindset. This is about survival. Because the moment you allow those forces to dominate your thinking, you're no longer leading your life. You're reacting to it. And people who live in reaction never break free. They never create. They never conquer. They survive. And survival is not your destiny. You need to understand that every thought you entertain is a seed. A single doubt can multiply into fear. A single delay can harden into procrastination. A single failure can convince you that you were never meant to win. And that's how most people live. Trapped in a story they didn't even write. You've been absorbing the world around you without questioning it. The voices that told you to play it safe. Be realistic. Stay in your lane. Those voices weren't just noise. They were programming. And unless you break that programming, you will continue to live someone else's idea of what your life should be. That's why mindset is not some cute motivational phrase. It is the foundation of everything. When your mind is under attack, it doesn't matter how talented you are. It doesn't matter how much potential you have. If your mind is not trained to fight back, you will sabotage your own success. You'll play small even when the world is begging for your greatness. You'll say no to opportunities because your self-worth is still tied to the old version of yourself. The one who didn't know any better. The one who settled. The one who listened to fear. But here's the truth: fear is loudest right before the breakthrough. That resistance you feel when you try to change, it's not a sign to stop. It's a signal you're close to something real. The mind will always cling to the familiar, even if that familiarity is pain. Because comfort is addictive, even when it costs you your purpose. You have to override that system. You have to interrupt the default. And you do that by making a decision, not a wish, not a hope, a decision to master your mind. To take back control from everything that's been running your life without permission. And when you do, the shift is undeniable. Your perception changes. The way you move changes. You stop waiting for external validation because you know who you are. You stop fearing judgment because you understand that small minds will always resist bold moves. You start to see that your power was never lost. It was just buried under layers of doubt, fear, and conditioning. You realize that your thoughts are not just thoughts. They are the architects of your future. Every single one is building or destroying. And now, you're finally the one holding the blueprint. So ask yourself, are you even thinking your own thoughts? Or are you still thinking the thoughts given to you by a system that never wanted you to rise? If you want to change your life, don't start with goals. Don't start with vision boards or motivation. Start with your mindset. Start with the one place where everything begins and everything ends. Because once your mind is free, nothing can enslave you again. Not fear, not failure, not even your past. A mastered mindset isn't about becoming someone new. It's about finally remembering who you were before the world told you to shrink. What you believe is shaping every part of your life, whether you realize it or not. Beliefs are not just ideas floating in your head. They are the filters through which you experience the world. If you believe you're not worthy, you'll reject compliments, opportunities, and relationships without even knowing why. If you believe success is for other people, you'll never step fully into your own potential. Your beliefs set the boundaries for what you allow yourself to do, become, and have. That's why mindset work isn't optional. It's foundational. Because if your beliefs are outdated, broken, or borrowed, then the life you build on top of them will always feel shaky, no matter how hard you try to fake it. Beliefs are formed early. Most of them aren't even yours. They came from your parents, your culture, your childhood, and the people who projected their limitations onto you. You were told who you were, what you could do, and what was realistic. Maybe you never questioned it. Maybe you just absorbed it and wore it like a second skin. But now, that skin is suffocating your greatness. It's shrinking your dreams. And unless you peel it off and rewrite the script, you will continue to live a life that isn't even yours. You can't grow into your power if your beliefs are still tethered to someone else's fear. Think about it. Every time you wanted to try something bold, something new, what held you back? Was it really the risk? Or was it the belief that you might fail? That you weren't enough? That it would be embarrassing? That belief is the gatekeeper. It decides what gets through. It blocks the very things you're meant for if it thinks you're not ready. But here's the truth most people don't want to face. Your belief doesn't reflect reality. It creates it. Your world bends to fit your belief system. If you believe you can, you'll start to see doors where others see walls. And if you believe you can't, your mind will delete every possible solution before you even try. Your language reveals your beliefs. The way you speak about yourself, your goals, your future. It's all connected. When you say things like, "I'm just not that confident," or "That's not for someone like me," you're reinforcing a belief that keeps you small. And the more you say it, the deeper it takes root. Words are powerful, but only because they reflect what's happening inside. To change your life, you need to change your internal narrative. You need to become ruthless about what you allow yourself to believe, because beliefs are not facts. They're choices. And you get to choose better ones. Changing a belief doesn't require years of work. It requires clarity and repetition. You have to catch the lie and replace it with truth, over and over again, until the new belief becomes more familiar than the old one. This is mindset mastery. It's not magic, it's mental discipline. It's about being so intentional with your thinking that the old patterns no longer have a place to live. You can't just think it once and expect results. You have to live it, speak it, and act like it's already yours. Until it is. until the belief is no longer something you're reaching for, but something you embody. Because once a belief becomes identity, it becomes permanent. It becomes automatic. You no longer have to force confidence. It's just who you are. You no longer second guess your worth. It's embedded in your choices, your posture, your voice. That's the power of belief. It's not just about thinking differently. It's about becoming different. Your life will always rise or fall to meet the level of your beliefs. So if your reality feels limited, it's time to stop blaming circumstances and start examining what you believe to be true, because your mind doesn't need permission to change. It needs direction, and it starts the moment you decide to believe something new. Emotion is not your enemy. It's your compass. It's energy moving through your body, signaling what matters, what needs attention, what's being triggered. But most people were never taught how to use it. They were taught to suppress it, fear it, or explode under it. That's why they break down under pressure, why they sabotage relationships, why they quit before the breakthrough. You have to understand, mastering your mindset requires mastering your emotional energy. Because emotion is power, but only if you know how to channel it. Left uncontrolled, it becomes chaos. Focused and disciplined, it becomes fuel. Think about it. How many moments have you lost to emotional spirals? One piece of bad news, one argument, one self-doubt, and suddenly your whole day is gone. Not because the situation was impossible, but because your emotional state hijacked your focus. You weren't in control anymore. Your reactions were key to. That's not mindset mastery. That's mental slavery. And it happens every day to people who think they're strong, but never took the time to develop emotional intelligence. Real strength is not in pretending to feel nothing. It's in learning how to feel everything and still choose your response with intention. There's a reason elite performers, powerful leaders, and game changers all talk about discipline. It's not just about habits or routines. It's about emotional regulation. Because when you're emotionally reactive, you're predictable, easily manipulated, you're fragile. But when you learn how to sit with discomfort without running, how to stand in the fire without flinching, you become unstoppable. You stop giving away your power to circumstances. You stop letting temporary feelings make permanent decisions. And that, right there, is where transformation begins. Not when life is perfect, but when your response to it is. Let's be clear, your emotions are valid, but that doesn't mean they should drive the car. You're allowed to feel fear, but that doesn't mean you back down. You're allowed to feel tired, but that doesn't mean you give up. The goal is not to suppress your emotions. It's to upgrade your relationship with them. To move from being at their mercy to mastering their message. Emotions carry data. Anger tells you where your boundaries are. Sadness reveals where some meaningful is missing. Joy lights the way to alignment. When you learn how to read these signals without drowning in them, you elevate your consciousness. You move differently. The problem is, most people confuse emotion with identity. They say, I am anxious, instead of, I feel anxious. And that tiny shift in language makes a massive difference. You are not your emotions. You are the observer of your emotions. The moment you separate the feeling from the self, You create space, and in that space there's choice. You can decide to pause, to breathe, to reframe, to act from clarity, not chaos. That's emotional power. And it's not some mystical skill. It's a mindset anyone can develop with practice and awareness. The key is to stop reacting and start responding. So the next time the wave hits, fear, doubt, anger, shame, don't resist it. Don't run from it. Don't lash out. Recognize it, breathe through it, then ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Because every emotion is either a weapon or a lesson. If you suppress it, it owns you. If you listen to it, you grow from it. Mastering your mindset is not about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming emotionally powerful. And when your emotional energy is aligned with your purpose, nothing, not failure, not judgment, not the past, can throw you off your path. Focus is the foundation of all achievement. Without it, even the most brilliant minds fall into chaos. In a world that's constantly screaming for your attention. Notifications, ads, opinions, distractions. Focus has become rare. But that's exactly what makes it powerful. If you can learn to harness your focus, you'll move faster, go further, and achieve what most people only dream about. Because when your mind is scattered, your energy is diluted. But when your focus is locked in, your energy becomes unstoppable. 1 hour of pure, undistracted focus can do more for your life than months of busy, directionless motion. Distraction is not just a habit. It's a weapon used against you. Algorithms are designed to steal your attention. They study you, learn your triggers, and feed you just enough dopamine to keep you hooked. And while you scroll, compare, and consume, your goals quietly fade into the background. That's not accidental. That's design. If you don't protect your focus, the world will devour it. You'll look up one day and wonder where your time went, where your energy went, where you went. But the truth, you didn't lose those things. You gave them away, piece by piece, minute by minute, to things that never built you. You can't build a legacy in distraction. You can't find purpose when your mind is constantly split between 5 different tabs. Greatness requires depth, and depth requires presence. If your mind is always somewhere else, you'll never fully tap into your potential. Focus isn't about working harder. It's about eliminating the noise. It's about making space for excellence. Every genius, every innovator, every game changer has had one thing in common: the ability to shut the world out long enough to create something real. That's not talent. That's discipline. That's intentionality. That's focus as a lifestyle, not a random burst of willpower. The people you admire didn't get where they are by doing 1,000 things. They got there by doing a few things. With intensity, with precision, with consistency. Most people fail not because they're incapable, but because they're unfocused. They start everything and finish nothing. They chase trends instead of building skills. They want results without the ability to concentrate long enough to earn them. But if you can learn to focus, truly focus, you unlock the ability to master anything. Whether it's your body, your business, your mindset, or your purpose, it all starts with your ability to direct your attention and keep it there. Protecting your focus is an act of self-respect. It means saying no to what doesn't align. It means creating boundaries that others might not understand. It means putting your phone away, turning the noise down, and choosing depth over speed. Focus doesn't happen by accident. It's engineered. You have to create an environment that supports it. Declutter your space. Limit your inputs. Be intentional with what you consume and who you allow into your energy. Because the quality of your focus reflects the quality of your environment. And if your space is chaotic, your mind will be too. Make focus your edge. Let it become your superpower in a world of distraction. When others are scattered, be grounded. When others are reactive, be strategic. When others are wasting time, be building something timeless. Your focus determines your future, because where your attention goes, your life flows. You can't afford to keep giving pieces of yourself to things that don't matter. Not when there's something inside you worth building. Not when your potential is waiting for you to show up fully. The question is, can you shut out the noise long enough to hear your own voice? Because in that stillness, everything begins. Your habits are the silent architects of your future. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your systems. And your systems are built on habits. What you do consistently, not occasionally, shapes the quality of your life. You could have the most ambitious goals, the most brilliant vision, but if your daily behavior doesn't support that vision, you're stuck in fantasy. Dreams without discipline are just illusions. And discipline isn't about perfection. It's about alignment. It's about doing what you said you would do, especially when the feeling is gone and only the commitment remains. Most people think they need motivation to start. They wait for inspiration to strike, for the mood to feel right, for life to quiet down. But successful people know that waiting is a trap. Motivation is fleeting. Habits are reliable. You don't brush your teeth because you're motivated. You do it because it's a non-negotiable part of your day. That's how high performers treat growth. They've programmed their day around the person they want to become, not the mood they happen to be in. If you want a different life, you need different standards. And your habits are where that shift begins. Not with a big leap, but with 1,000 small, invisible choices made daily. Every decision you make is a vote for the person you're becoming. Skipping the workout isn't just missing a session. It's reinforcing the identity of someone who quits on themselves. Waking up late, procrastinating, binge-watching, scrolling. None of these are neutral. They're habits that slowly erode your power. But the same is true in reverse. When you keep a promise to yourself, when you wake up early, when you choose discipline over distraction, you're casting votes for the stronger version of you. And eventually, those votes add up. That's how confidence is built. That's how self-respect is built. Not by talking about change, but by being the change consistently. There's a reason your habits matter more than your goals. Goals give direction, but habits create momentum. Without daily habits, goals remain distant, abstract, overwhelming. But when your day is structured around aligned habits, you don't need to obsess over the finish line. You just need to show up. You need to win today. One workout, one focused hour, one healthy meal, one powerful choice. Stack those wins, and suddenly the impossible starts to feel inevitable. That's the power of compound growth. It doesn't show up overnight. But when it hits hard. You don't just change what you do, you change who you are. The key is to design habits that pull you forward, not drain your willpower. Make them obvious, make them automatic. Build your environment to support them, not sabotage them. If your phone is your biggest distraction, don't rely on discipline. Remove the temptation. If you want to wake up early, set your alarm across the room. Prep your clothes the night before and eliminate decision fatigue. Success isn't just about trying harder. It's about creating systems that make the right choice the easy one. Set yourself up to win. Don't just rely on mental strength. Engineer your habits for success. Because at the end of the day, your habits are your life, not your intentions. Not your dreams, not your potential, just your habits. They are the invisible force driving your future. And the truth is, you already have habits. They're either serving you or sabotaging you. So look at your day, not your vision board, not your New Year's resolutions, your day. What you do when no one's watching, what you default to when you're tired. That's who you really are. And if that version doesn't align with who you want to become, it's time to stop hoping and start building, one habit at a time. Your identity is the blueprint of your reality. Most people think change begins with action, but true transformation starts with identity. Who you believe you are. The moment you shift how you see yourself, your behavior begins to change automatically. If you believe you're undisciplined, you'll sabotage every attempt to build consistency. If you believe you're unworthy, you'll push away every opportunity that reflects your value. But when you decide, fully decide, that you are powerful, focused, relentless, and worthy of a life beyond average, your brain starts rewiring itself to match that belief. Your standards rise. Your energy shifts. You move differently. Because identity always drives behavior. The problem is, most people are living with identities they never consciously chose. Identities that were shaped by trauma, by criticism, by failure. They're walking through life with labels someone else put on them. Lazy, emotional, weak, not enough. And over time, those labels become armor. They don't serve you, they shrink you. But you've carried them so long, you mistake them for truth. You've allowed old stories to define your present decisions. And that's where the cycle lives, on repeat, until you interrupt it. Until you look those lies in the face and say, this isn't who I am. This is who I was taught to be, and I choose different now. Changing your identity doesn't mean faking it. It means remembering who you were before the world told you to play small. It means consciously choosing beliefs that align with your future, not your past. Every time you affirm a new identity, I am a leader, I am disciplined, I am worthy of abundance. You are building a new neural pathway in your brain. At first, it feels unnatural, even uncomfortable. But that's how growth works. You're not just changing your habits. You're reprogramming the core of who you are. And once your identity is locked in, the habits become easier. They're no longer a chore. They become an expression of who you are. Your self-image is the thermostat of your life. No matter what you achieve, if your internal setting is low, you'll find a way to sabotage it. If you don't believe you deserve wealth, you'll waste it. If you don't believe you're worthy of love, you'll push it away. That's why the inner work is non-negotiable. You have to upgrade the mental temperature of your life. Set it higher. Train your mind to see yourself as powerful, valuable, capable. Then align your actions to that setting every day. It's not about ego. It's about alignment. Because you cannot consistently outperform the identity you hold of yourself. It's time to take inventory of your identity. Who are you really? Not who your parents expected. Not who your past painted. Not who your fears whisper, but who your soul knows you were born to be. Write that version down. Speak it out loud. Visualize how they move, how they speak, how they think. Then start showing up as them. Before the results appear, before the world claps. Because identity is not built on evidence, it's built on belief. And belief turns into evidence over time. The stronger the belief, the faster the shift. The world will catch up, but it starts with you. Identity is the ultimate leverage. Once you change how you see yourself, you don't have to force change. It flows. Your decisions change. Your habits change. Your relationships evolve. Opportunities you once overlooked become magnetized to you. And the old life, it starts to feel foreign, like a costume you outgrew, because you finally came home to yourself. This isn't about pretending to be someone else. It's about finally becoming you, the highest, most aligned, most powerful version of you. The one who's been waiting beneath the surface, buried under fear, guilt, and doubt. And once that version rises, nothing can stop you. So now the question isn't really if your life can change. It's when you decide to take control. Because you already have the power. It's been there all along. In your mind, in your habits, in your focus, in your circle, in the way you speak to yourself when no one's listening. 1 hour of radical clarity, 1 hour of unshakable mindset can become the spark that transforms everything. You're not waiting on motivation. You're not waiting on permission. You're not waiting on the right time. The shift starts now. Change your mindset, and you change your life forever.